What is going on, folks? Once again, it is Mr. Soul of a Man 50 to the 4. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about being a late bloomer. Yeah, so for all my late bloomers out there, those people who feel like life has passed them by, it's too late to start something. It's not, it is never too late, man. It is never too late to go back to school, to learn how to drive a stick shift, to start that garden, whatever it is that you are naturally trying to do. Maybe a little later on in life. I wrote my first book, Soul of a Man: Poetry for the Mind, Body, and Soul. I wrote my first book when I was 38, I believe, and that was in 2015. So I wasn't like, I wasn't some 19, 15, 12-year old kid. How nowadays people can catch your talents. They have that eye for it, and if they care, they'll catch your talents, when you're young. I remember my mom saying that, man, I really wish I would have done something with the writing. But, at that time, that was probably in the 90s, I would say. So they didn't have the technology or the tools or the know-how to do that. It was just, go to school, get a job, live your life. That's, go for what you know. I feel like I never look at my parents. I've heard people say, everybody's life is different, but if your parents, guardians did the best they could. Me personally, I'm not going to look at them and blame them for anything. I get everybody's life is gonna be different, but under the circumstances, um, African American parents growing up in the South, I think they did one heck of a job. The rest of it now is up to me. You know, um, but I'm glad that I always say you're never alone in the fight. You know, Never alone through the fight and the journey. Um, Going through, going through the jungle, discovering new territories. Building building new bridges, becoming that amazing landmark type person, becoming that tycoon that you need to become in your life. That's all a part of it. you know um Getting yourself to new stratospheres, to new heights, believing that it can, not just believing, but just knowing that it can be done. When I was in school, I was bored half the time. Seriously, like high school and middle school. I just wanted to, I always say my two favorite periods in school were lunch and PE. I also loved history. I'll say, and science was cool also, but math and all that stuff, I mean, who uses the Pythagorean theorem like on a daily basis? Maybe architects. I don't know, but you can really be the architect of your life now by implementing whatever it is that you want to implement. When you look at your life, like what is standing in your way? Like what is the main thing that's what's the thing that's stopping you from doing what it is that you truly wanted to do? Is it time? Is it is it your mentality? Is it that you don't have the support of, I don't know, people or whatever? But as I said before, in the start of it, you're probably going to be the only one believing in yourself. You're going to be the one naturally starting that journey. I mean, I can help you with that. I do spiritual life coaching for people. I call myself a spiritual consultant. You can go to my Instagram and go to my link tree and you check me out. And I'd be more than happy to help you. Getting yourself, being more decisive in the now. Getting to a higher plane of existence. With your life. And sometimes, that is just unleashing what you've always felt all along. And, when we talk about, being a late bloomer, some of the most beautiful things bloom later on in life. Sometimes it takes time. It really does. Sometimes it really does take time. And, it's not your it's not by sheer coincidence you are where you are right now and what you're naturally feeling, what you're feeling right now. But the important thing for you is to get up and to move and to feel it. If you're feeling it, if you're feeling it now, then that means it's time for you. It's new cycles are coming. It's like more intrinsic things are going to be happening around the world. And the last thing, everything is moving at such a fast pace. Everything is happening so fast that you don't want to be one of those. Well, you don't want to be one of these people that's just naturally just left behind. You don't want to. For me, you don't want to undervalue yourself. You don't want to feel like you're you want to wake up every day feeling amazing. Like people who made decisions in their life to do something fulfilling, be it go back to school for whatever, and now they're doing it in their fields of study. You want to do something, and you want to do something in your life that's not just going to last a lifetime impression for you, but also those people that come behind you, those people that feel like they have a void in their lives. You never know what people are naturally going through out there. It is looking at it and saying that, well, what is that old saying? If the mountain can't come to Muhammad, then Muhammad will go to the mountain. So what mountains are what is it that you see as a mountain today that is standing in your way? That is stopping you, that you feel like it's stopping you from moving forward. Maybe you've asked I don't know, maybe you've asked God and said, well, God, send me a sign, help me and blah blah blah, and God sent you the sign and you missed it a few times, and maybe now you're just catching it. That's okay. If you catch it now, great. Start implementing these things. Implement these things that you hear in your life. You hear that old saying, for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. So it is meaning that it's time. It's been overtime for you to make some type of move, decision that is going to help you to become greater and who you are. And that's what it is. And there is just no getting around that. You have to make the decision, to do that. And just saying that in your life, for me being a late bloomer and being able to tell some of my stories and share with people, around the world. I just feel that it's essential for me to be out here, be brave enough, to be smart enough, to be not to be indecisive, because I know that there's work to do. I know that there's work to do. When you're not, it seems sometimes it's so much easier. You have to, when you're on a solo journey, being an entrepreneur, following your passions, you have to have that structure to get yourself up, to get it done, to know when it's best for you, to know what you're great at doing. And again, if you need help with that, if you need help fine tuning your life and finding out what you're great at and implementing it and all of that good stuff, hey, hit me up. I'll be more than happy to assist you with that. Again, I am a spiritual life coach, spiritual consultant, and I have great valuable information, um, for you that can help you to get to where you need to be. And the important thing is, what do you aspire to be now? What do you aspire your legacy to be moving forward? Are you going to look back 20 years from now and be proud of yourself, or are if you're happy where you are, man, great. Continue doing what you're doing. I'm probably not talking to you. I'm probably just talking to those people who need to be bold, who need to step out, who need to who's been having a realization, to go out and just do something different. There are people out there in all kinds of circumstances. We've just come out of a pandemic, and a lot of people are still trying to figure it out. They're still trying to get to the they're still trying to get to where they need to get to. They're still trying to have a greater understanding of what their purpose is in this new, in these new beginnings. And it seems like we're going to continue to feel these shockwaves. It is your journey, and it is your dream, that you have, in front of you. And that's a beautiful thing, because this is something that you can learn from. You don't have to be in a classroom every day. If you're a teacher or a professor or a student, life is, I find life to be if somebody says, well, who's your greatest professor? And, I would say life. Life has been, the greatest teacher. I've had stuff taught by parents and grandparents and cousins, and just being by myself, going through just different situations, life changing situations. There's nothing wrong with, experience can be its greatest teacher, but if you learn from it and if you implement it, sometimes we don't catch on to that until maybe a little later on in life, when we're seasoned and we get all of the playfulness out of our systems, and we, it's pilot to co-pilot. It's time for a redirection, in our lives. And if you're the if you're the only one that believes in yourself, that's okay. I mean, there's nothing, it's indisputable for you to be happy, and in every natural positive way. It is time for you to, release what it is that you've been having going on with you, for so long. Just feeling it, saying like, man, yeah, it's time. I should have never, you know. And sometimes, I've heard people tell the story of, meeting a significant person in middle school or high school, and like, man, that was the the greatest person I've ever met to have in my personal life. And, I don't know, for some reason, it didn't work out. Maybe they were just young. I don't know. They let it go and they still think about this person, even though they may be with somebody else and they care about them. But it was something about that person, or something about that person in that situation that made them think, man, I wonder what such and such is doing now, and and how their life is going, and that goes into living life with regrets, and that's that is something that you never want to do, seriously, and that's for me, I wouldn't want to look back and and say that I didn't try, or I if now if you try and you don't succeed, then okay, at least you have at least you have it, at least you have that knowing within you to say that well, hey, I've tried, I've tried in this situation, I've tried in this season, but maybe it just wasn't for me, at this point in time. But the beautiful thing is that when you try, so many more opportunities come, so many more doors open, so many more lessons come from within that, and it's just one foot in front of the other, getting yourself out of bed in the morning or whenever, and just going for it, and making it happen. That's the beautiful thing of it, just going forward and giving, at least giving yourself, an opportunity to try, or to do something, or to put that idea out there. And so, now we have so many more opportunities for our voices to be heard, for our faces to be seen, and to make to make an impact, to be to be true, to be truthful to to who we are, and these and these amazing situations, and these amazing circumstances, that is a very amazing, and that's a very transformative, and it's a very beautiful thing. Speaking of the transformers, like Optimus Prime would say, hey, you are more than meets the eye. So it is time for you to transform into what it is that you were put down here to do, and it's time for you to roll it out. It's time for you to roll it out. Think about it a little bit, write it down. Seek whatever help you need. If it's a business, I'm sure there's like a small business center somewhere around you. You can call them. You don't have to drive nowadays. If you have an internet connection or a phone, you can talk over the phone, or maybe you can set up a Zoom call. So, there's just, so many different things that you can naturally do out here, for not just for yourself, but for other people. And people are really waiting for you to make this happen. And they're going to be so excited to sit down and talk to you, and just to hear your voice. Like I heard somebody the other day tell me, like, man, talking to you just made me feel better. It just helped me to become calm, and maybe that's just my energy. I was working in the medical field for so long, and I was, just able to have that calming, cool presence. And that's just what it was. Was it for everybody? Nah. But that's not, I wasn't there to make them happy. I was just there to do what to do what I had to do, and impact the people that I impacted. So, sometimes it's hit and miss. You know how it is with people. You can please some of the people some of the time, but you're not going to please everybody. But as long as you are doing your due diligence, and you're happy with that. So, hey, it's what it is. So, but yeah, but releasing the old and being able to rest, man, that's very important. Getting your rest in the meantime and in between time. Seriously, that really is very, very important, and it's very, very, very crucial. Myself, I grew up as a very quiet kid. Getting back into being a late bloomer, I was a quiet kid growing up, sheltered by parents, and but eventually the real world hits you, and you go to school and you make friends, and you start to come out of your shell. And it took me a while. It took me going through college and all of that stuff to really find my voice. But once you find it, once you have that spark, you gotta keep it going. You gotta let that fire roar. And I mean, let it blaze. um Listen to the messages that are being let the messages come through your being. There you go. Let those intuitive messages come through your being. Sometimes you're going to be like, did I just hear that? I thought maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm going a little. No, you're not. Yes, you did hear that, and you need to hear it. You probably heard it a few months ago or a few years ago, but you were busy doing other things, maybe hanging out with the wrong people. I'm not sure. Everybody's situation is, again, is going to be different out here. That old saying, some people are just wired a little different. Some people from Europe, the northern part of the US, I don't know, north, south, east, and west. Everybody has a different culture, a different vibration. Like folks in India eat spicy food. That probably wouldn't be my thing to do every day, but I did it when I was younger, growing up in Louisiana, because it was just being from New Orleans. It's something where the food is it's a little different. It's more cultured, but it's so good though. Oh my goodness. Man, do I miss it. Oh man, do I miss the food. Also, the missing a family. But anyway, but yeah, man, but connecting with your emotions, that's also because I didn't quite have an understanding of who I was. And sometimes people would, I would look at, other people, and I would mirror them. I would maybe take a little something that I was inspired by, or, however it is that you want to look at that. Oh, well, cool. Wait, hold on. We have a guest. Let's see who this is. Okay, let's see. We got a guest coming in, folks, on the Woods map.
Greetings, my brother Desmond. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, ma'am. I'm good. How you doing today?
I'm blessed. I can't complain. I saw not only your title being a late bloomer, but I heard you talking about how how you missed the food back home. Am I correct?
Yeah. I just kind of got off on a little tangent and went back down memory lane. And
Where are you from? I didn't catch that part. Where are you from?
I'm actually originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. So that's why I said, that's why I was talking about the food, because I was talking about how the food in India is spicy, and I was like, I correlated it with when growing up in New Orleans, eating a lot of seafood. The seafood was as equally as spicy as the food maybe found in India, and like loving that chicken from Popeyes. No, people, Popeyes is not sponsoring this. I'm just saying. maybe they'll be a future sponsor. I don't know. I would love
that.
You
never know. You have to keep your mind open. You never know who's listening, brother.
Yeah, now right. Yeah. So loving that chicken from Popeyes. I would always order like the spicy chicken, because it had a kick to it, and eating like the Asian cuisine down there is also indoctrinated in the in the mixture of the food also. So it's an interesting blend of different cultures down there. So that's basically what I was saying.
On the terms of being a late bloomer, I think this is what you mean. Like even in my own life, when it comes to dreams and stuff. I found myself being a late bloomer, and later in my life is when I finally got my stuff together so I could manifest my life. So, if you've met any of these speakers on wisdom, there's a lady named Nadia, and she talks about. I told her that I was a late bloomer, and she had a really wonderful take on it. She's like, "Well, if you're a late bloomer, that means you'll stay youthful for even a longer period of time." You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Because that's interesting. Because I myself, I have that. People say I'm an old soul, but I'm a kid at heart. So I'm
Yes.
always, yeah. So I always have, like, even though I'm at the age that I'm at, I still like to get out and just do certain things. I'll still watch cartoons. So it's
You
just
know what? Yeah, yeah, I still get a little kick out of Flintstones. You can't tell me nothing about that.
right, right, right. So yeah. So basically the message is that just telling people that even though you might have started things a little later than everybody else, but certain people peak at a certain time, and when while
Yes.
they're peaking and they plateau, you're still growing, you're still shooting for the stars. That's the beautiful thing about it. And
Yeah,
I
that's very true. It's neat that someone has that same take on it because I used to worry that the world missed me because I'm like, why am I not blooming? And I realized just like flowers or plants or trees, everybody has a different peak time, like you said.
Yeah, and the one thing I said was that the most beautiful things can bloom in later seasons in life. And that's and that's so, like, I feel like that is so to the point, because people may just get down on themselves because they don't have whatever society said that they were supposed to have, maybe by the age of 20 or 30 or 40 or 50. They're still not married, and X, Y, and Z.
Each everybody's journey is so unique, and I think that if we I love that you say that because there's a lot of people, especially youth, who think that they have to be blooming at 20 and married at 25 and have kids at 30 and they need to be just retiring at 60. But I believe that if you're living your best version of your life and you're following however your belief system is, God for me the most high, you have to follow the timing of what that power tells you because there's so much importance in just following your gut and being pure to who you are and not worrying what everybody else is doing. And I just want to say I appreciate you for sharing that because I know there's a lot of people out there who think because they late bloom or they're blooming late that life has forgotten them. Definitely not. It's definitely that life has remembered you. This just waiting you for to ripen your fruit. So thank you, my brother, and I will continue listening. One love.
Okay, thank you for coming up. I'm gonna definitely follow you though. Yeah, man. So, it's like like the sister just said, it is important to know it's important to know who you are, it's important to know whose you are, because there's always a greater reason to it. I know we want to know and understand every little thing. Some of us are going to be the biggest micromanagers of our lives, but although sometimes we may miss the bigger picture, maybe it may take you 5 years to go back to the movie theater of life and watch that movie over again and say, like, oh, okay, now I get it. That's to me, that there's it's really so much to learn from that, and there are just so many different takeaways. Like I believe in God. My relationship um with God has been, amazing, especially over the last 2 years, man, especially since the pandemic, and since I've really just been on this spiritual journey and just studying different, not just the, let's just say, the Abrahamic, spiritual systems or religions, but also, looking at like things like meditation, looking at, how can you manifest? How can you manifest with, because one thing with the Bible, it's an amazing book of instructions. I think it's just sometimes people get the interpretation of it just a little, but if you can, what is it? I think it's like the book of Psalms, man. Like if you go in there, it's like so many things that you can do with that, and implement into your life, but and also make a greater livelihood for yourself. It is the it is the wisdom, and is the understanding of the knowing. And you're like, well, I remember hearing Joyce Meyer say, she would say, people would be like, when, Lord, when, why, Lord, like just wondering, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Like somebody told me, my change is now. The change is now. The change is now. If you feel it in your spirit, if you're like, the change is now. I am going to be obedient, and I'm going to be diligent, and I am going to move forward with what I have, and what you have may just be a vision that you've seen. It's like, well, I see myself, um, doing XYZ. I see myself going down to the bank, getting a loan for the business. I see myself being an influencer on social media. And, if that is what it's going to be for you, that's what it's going to be. My biggest thing over the years has just been consistency, man. Just staying consistent with it, like, continuing to push, continuing to go to grow with it. Continuing to make it happen. Um, over my life, and not stopping, and just incorporating other little things, those so-called tangible things. It's all often said, well, I remember I went to a graduation, and this gentleman said that, well, hey, I think it was my sister's graduation a few years back, and I think she got like a master's. But anyway, the guy was, on stage, and he was like, well, our generation, messed stuff up and blah blah blah. So it's up to your generation to fix it. I'm like, sir, well, you're not dead. I mean, I'm sure you could do something, I mean, give out some knowledge, or I don't know, instead of like throwing the ball to, and saying, well, hey, we screwed up, so it's up to you now. It's like, well, no, 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 like, I know that I still have things to do out here. So I'm not going to be like, well, it's up to the next year. No, because I'm not done yet. I'm not retired. Even if I was, I would still be out here giving like information. It's not what you say, but how you say it, I believe. That's how we're really missing the younger generation, meeting them where they are, not saying I understand the music and all of that stuff. I get everything is faster now. Everything is faster. It has to be maybe in sound bites. But if you get there, like a teacher said, when they would go into the classroom, they would tell the students that they cared. That's how they got their attention. And I remember the lady was telling me, like, she went to a school, she was going to be a substitute teacher, or she was going to teach the class or something like that. And the principal was like, oh, hey, Miss Such and Such, I apologize, you know this class is really this and that, and blah blah, and she was like, well, why are they telling me, what have I gotten myself into? So she went into the classroom, and she got, their attention. But she told them, like, hey, listen, I'm here because I care, and I want you to, I want you to learn. I'm not here to scream and fight, and I don't have time for that. So, and with that, she caught their attention, and she kept it. That's the thing. And the print, and people would walk by the classroom, they would look and they would be so surprised. And it was, the principal like, well, what did you do? I guess, like, I guess the principal thought it was going to be a hostage situation. I don't know. Like, well, I guess she's like, well, look, like I became this Bond villain. I've got their parents hostage. And, if I push this little button, it's boom. But, she just basically went in there, so she just basically went in there and she just caught their attention. That's it, and she just did what nobody else was doing. Like I know I've been a substitute teacher and it is not easy. I get it. And that was like middle school. That was like a few years back, when I was still living in Louisiana. But man, it was not easy. Um, but getting their attention, capturing their minds, that's letting them know that you care because what happened during the pandemic. A lot of parents would like just ship their kids off. Not saying all parents, they'll ship their kids off to school, and they'll be like, "Well, now you're the parent. You're the teacher's problem for the day." And now, when the parents had to, when the shoe was on the other foot, it a lot of parents realized what teachers have to go through. And then the parents were crying like, oh, the schools need to reopen. They need to do something with these kids. But that's your kids. You have to, things are gonna happen, man. You're gonna have to figure it out. My parents had to figure it out. That's why I didn't want any kids. And it's interesting because it's like everybody I've ever met, like over my life, they'd be like, hey, you don't have any kids? Like, no. And it was my 20s, whatever, or like, you don't have any kids? I'd be like, no, I don't have any. And, they'd be like, well, man, if I could go back, I would wait, or I just wouldn't have had them at all. And if you ask me, was that something that shaped me as far as not wanting children? Yeah, probably so. But, some there are people, it's just interesting to say that there are people who might have wished they had more time to do something that they didn't uh that they didn't grow up so fast in life, and that they had a better childhood. Maybe that's what gave maybe life gave you that opportunity to have a better childhood, and have amazing childhood friends. I hear people all the time still, they're still really cool with people from their childhood. And just to say that, to piggyback off of things happening a little later on in life. I mean, I'm at the point I'm good with it. I'm excited. For me personally, I'm excited for myself, and I've personally I've been able to, my man, I've been able to sell my books, certain places around the world, and Europe and Canada. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing, man. When I always say the gift goes to the gifted. And once you start to open up those gifts, man, so many other things are going to happen. It said that, stir, the gift has to be stirred. So the gift has to, when it's put out, it has to be put out, at a very specific time. And that's what the important thing is about it. It when that time is right, it's going to be there for you for the rest of your life. And it is to also help to put you in a lot of situations that you know people are going to say, oh man, wow, you lived life. And you're going to probably tell them, well, it wasn't always like this. Like, seriously. Like what you're seeing now is maybe like a product of all of those years, but forever always, the main thing is that now you're in a better situation that you always dreamed about doing. and that you always dreamed about being in. And it is, that's your ultimate resolution beyond the New Year's resolution. People make these fly night New Year's resolutions, and January comes and moves to August, and then another December. Then they were like, well, this year sucked. I'm gonna just, sweep this year and I'll just move on to the next year. And time continues to move on. So we have to be smart and relevant, and know that your voice, your message, your products, your how you move and how you're going to continue to move. So speaking of a move, someone has a move coming up out there. I don't know who you are, but I don't know why I'm getting the Twin Cities. um Maybe something, I think that's like Minnesota, or maybe going up north or something like that. But anyway, so yeah, so somebody has a yeah, someone has a move coming up, and that's going to help to bring in new and amazing things. Go with it, man. Go with your gift. Go where you are being positioned to move to, and don't are like in the Bible, the story of the tenth, was it like three or four servants? I think the last servant came and says, well, here, master, here's the, I buried this money, and here you go. And it's like, oh, ye wicked servant. And you were supposed to go out and take it and flip this money so that you can have a better life and come back and maybe show me like what you've done. I didn't give you, we don't get these opportunities to sit on them, or to squander them, because there are people out there that are just as hungry, just as willing, just as capable. Maybe they haven't figured it out. I don't know. But when they wake up, I am telling you, man, they are going to be coming, and they're going to be coming like the Walking Dead. All they're going to know is brain. And I know that may be a little funny, but they're going to be focused. They're going to be so laser like focused, man. You're gonna be like, well, who are these super beings that that aren't taking no for an answer, aren't quitting, uh, are taking just a little of something and flipping it, who are just like so in tune, so ready, so like, so everything, and they're, uh, they're, taking the information, implementing it, flipping it, and questioning it, and dicing it up, and coming up with all of these solutions. And like um society might look at, society once looked at them as these cast outs, or these castaways, like the old show Gilligan's Island, until they found a way to get off the island, you know um but moving forward, being the late bloomer, it's not, at this point, wasn't an issue for me. People, when I go home, folks, they remember me, like, oh man, I remember, how many ever years ago it used to be like this, and it used to be like that. Beware of those people that live in the past, because they are probably stuck there, and they're not going any further than where they are right now. And that's the thing. Then, that's they're happy. Great, cool. We got another guest coming up, Coach Art. All right, all right. And in three, two, one. What's going on, Coach?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, it's going good, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Pleasure to meet you. And I mean, I've been listening for a little while, and I really, obviously, I like what you're saying, and a lot of it resonates. And I hear, the struggle you're talking about that certain people have with regards to just developing at different ages and coming to their own later in life and not necessarily having to follow that mold that was made for us in the 40s and 50s, right?
Right.
So, but I'm wondering, like, so what would be your perspective on like the culture today of
Oh, there you go.
not necessarily the young adults, but even the kids, right? The 10, 12, 14, even 16-year olds that parents are rushing to make them grow, right?
Yeah.
And to have all these experiences right away. So what would be your take on that? On the younger kids?
I think the younger kids are really catching on a whole lot faster. Sometimes I don't think we give kids enough credit for how sharp they are. But with that said, they're still kids, and they still need they still need the love. They still need the attention. It's good that they're great with all of this technology because that's the way the world is going. But they still need to be able to go outside, get fresh air instead of being thrown into these. I can only imagine because growing up, I'm sure like I didn't have to go through all of the things that these kids are seeing, the schools being shot up and all of the stuff that they're seeing on social media and everything that's the a pandemic. So
It's a tough world.
yeah, it's a it's a so the when we say the word love too, what those kids need as much they need a solid foundation to really to help them to grow. I know they're smart and we see them as these sometimes these extra dimensional beings, but they're still kids, and they still have to have these they still need to have a childhood along with along with growing up. The thing is that we don't want to see them grow up too fast, but a lot of children slip through the cracks and they're put through foster care, through maybe the public school system. You're seeing an overcrowding in the schools. A lot of teachers are retiring early. So it's a lot. It's a lot that's going on out here, and it's a lot that these kids have to deal with, society, mentally and everything else in between.
Appreciate you. Thank you for sharing that. And I agree. It's that balance between having them grow up and have the modern experience of whatever it's like to grow up now, without the same time being able to not necessarily rush them or push them out the door, right? I mean, that's kind of sometimes how it feels like from someone who's educating young people. So yeah, no, I totally agree. Thank you for that.
No problem. Yeah, because I remember my dad telling me, like, when he was, like my great great grandfather came over from Cuba, so that that Cuban bloodline really tough, strong. So my dad was like, my grandfather was like, when he was 18, he had to go. It wasn't like that. He gave me time to grow, make mistakes, and and to figure some things out. And I'm glad that he did, because Lord knows where I'd be right now.
No, yeah, and it's the same thing for me. Where I mean, I grew up in a very happy, safe environment, but yeah, I don't know what it would be like for me now. So thank you for that.
No problem, no problem. Ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Coach Art. Please follow him on the app. And yeah, thank you for all of the people that that have come up, man. And it's Yeah, the I remember Whitney Houston said the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Now I know that there are a lot of teachers out there. I spoke about it a little earlier, but I know there are a lot of teachers out there who love what they do. I know that they're still underpaid and underappreciated. Um, and it has to be bigger than just thoughts and prayers. Like how when in society something bad happens, the news media they'll just be like, well, thoughts and prayers. And I mean, we never. It's good to pray often and always through everything, but when you pray when tragedy hits, it's I don't want to say it's too little, too late, but you know what I mean. It's like Godzilla is attacking the whatever San Francisco, and it's like, oh no, let's pray for those people. It's like, I mean, shouldn't, if we believe in that, that's something that we should have been done. We should have been implemented those structural tactics that could have saved San Francisco from Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? But I'm so serious. If that would have happened last year or beginning of this year, and they're like, Godzilla is attacking somewhere, or New York or whatever, Japan, it wouldn't have shocked me because of everything I saw last year and everything that I saw this year. And all of these man, just everything that's just happening around the world, and everything is in, it's not just naturally, the kids we have to look out for, but we also have to, we also, it's a lot of work. Man, it's a lot of work out here that needs to be done. And I hope that people are doing their due diligence in their lives, and affecting, because this thing, it's interesting. We're in a time in history where everything is being affected. It's everyone. It's not just, oh well, because a lot of people have that mentality of like, oh well, that's just them over there, maybe in somebody in Siberia, being affected by whatever. But we are dealing with something now that's, it looks like it's just going to continue to go on and on and on and on. Who knows, when, the party continues, so to speak, not to put it in a disparaging kind of way, but it's like the beat is going on, and we have to we have to adjust ourselves accordingly as we move along, as we move along, with everything, despite, you feel about it how you're going to feel about it. I'm never one to, your emotions are going to be your emotions, and you have to be able to express that in a in a positive manner, maybe around people that you care about, or maybe with a therapist if you feel like you need to go sit down and talk to a professional. Lord knows, people's and I'm happy that we live in times now where people's mental health is really being looked at, and we have guidelines set, and new guidelines are being set, on jobs and schools. And I said, like, I can only imagine, like, if I were in high school, the school gets shot up by some terrorists, and I and then you have to deal with that, and it's like these it's like these kids are going through these traumas every day. Like, like, so I stop scrolling certain social media, if I get on whatever, so certain social media apps, because it can be very traumatic. It's this, you hear like the same, you really hear these same talking points every day, and it can really be overwhelming. So that's why I try to honor and value my time, and put it into, and then put it into other things, because do I have all of the answers? No, but I tell you what, I can observe stuff. And I'm telling you, we are we are in a deep and we are in the thick of it, man. I'm telling you, it is. It's just it's very amazing what's what's happening now. It's almost like what we are seeing is what we're seeing now is that it's like stuff that that we would see in movies. It's actually happening now. I think somebody was talking about this, but they say there's like a word for it, but I forgot where like Hollywood would prepare you things like people talk about the Simpsons, and the Simpsons would predict all of these different things, and these things would these things would happen, you know. But yeah, but choose your directions wisely, man. Ask that your steps be ordered because we at this point we need all of the help that we can get. I know people out there talking about aliens and just all kind of stuff because it's man, it's amazing how everything now is like people don't really go to the movies anymore. Everything is streaming, and it's just some things, just honestly, some things need to change, and that some things needed a tune up, and like it or not, here it is, and we naturally have to, I think I might go to the movie. I haven't been to the movies, and it's been a minute, but it's just interesting now where people used to talk about the best seat in the house. Now the best seat in the house literally is at home, and it seems to be that's where where the safest place is. And man, yeah, but along with your directions, you're going to enjoy the growth and you're going to reap the rewards that that come along with it. I know that I said that history has a tendency to repeat itself, and you may see like a lot of, I don't know what say, like new age spiritual stuff that's popping up. People who can maybe peek into the future and read you and blah blah blah. I myself had these gifts, and did I ask for them? No. I mean, I was always intrigued by like I was always intrigued by magic and Houdini and David Copperfield and these people. Like growing up as a kid, I would go to the library and read books on this stuff, but the art of the illusion or the hand is quicker than the eye, and and all of that stuff. But that it's a lot. It's a lot out there that I've learned, and I'm telling you, man, it's like some of the stuff I have seen. Man, like one day I was literally in here by myself, right? It was like a Saturday, and it was probably after 9 o'clock. Long story short, I'm like turning off the lights, but call it a night early, and just kind of hang out on social media for a little while. So I come back in the living room, and so I see it's dark, mind you, like it is dark, dark, like feeling around dark, but I see like these people standing in the living room, and I'm not making this up. And it's they all turn around at once. They have like these big bulging eyes. I don't know if I could, man, I don't know if you've ever seen like The Mask or Beetlejuice, something like that. So it's, I don't know, it's a few of them. They're just standing there, and they turn around and they just say, look at me at the same time. Like it didn't, and freak me out because I'm kind of used to stuff like that now. Like I've seen, I've seen, different things more on a, and I'll probably talk about that next time. But anyway, but now anybody else would have saw this, they probably would have dialed 911. They probably would have like I don't know, jumped out of the window, they would have moved, like but for me, when I see these things, it's like these are signs, these are signs. They're I know that for me it was for my lineage, it was, it was ancestral. It was like one of my ancestors was sending me a message because, I would, I get spiritual information from, people that I trust. And, somebody was like, hey, that's one of one of your elder ancestors. And, they explained it and, you know, and all of that good stuff. So, yeah, man, but yeah, I've heard stories. I've heard some interesting stories on the spiritual side of it. It's just certain things I don't mess around with. But I mean, hey, I love hearing a good story, and I love like sharing these stories. And like I said, man, some of these things you watch like movies, and I'll go on YouTube and read some of these Reddit stories about alternate realities. And, it's interesting, man. I'm telling you, it's it's interesting. But yeah. But anyway, set your sights higher. Please do that. Honor your knowing, and you know, getting out of your own way. And sometimes we do have to retreat to recharge. Not retreat like giving up, waving the white flag, but there are there are sometimes we go through these things where we're stuck in these patterns. I remember a guy telling the story, and he was a speaker. I heard him speak at this event, probably like 2016, and he was saying how he was caught in this pattern, and it was a certain lesson he had to learn. And so I think he said he went to was going to McDonald's with his kids and picking him up some food, and he was sitting down waiting for it and something like that. But he learned, it wasn't until like that 10th year that he learned that lesson that got him out of that pattern. And it helped to shift into to elevate his life. And so for someone out there, or for those people out there that are still listening, I'll say, why, why wait, or why not put yourself in such a more, better situation that you're going to be, that you're going to be thankful for later on down the line when, the you now is almost kind of like stuck in a perpetual state of, man, this isn't it. I need something different. I need, seriously, I you know gotta make a move. And I have to make it now. I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I look at people, and like these famous people, whatever, like some of these newer musicians, and I'm like, not saying that the technology, I believe, with music has gotten so great that it feels like the talent level, I'm not trying to be too judgy, but it feels like the talent level isn't where it was at one point. Like people had to, not just a look. Like nowadays, if you have a look, and if you have an okay sound, they can, put like some auto tune over your voice, smooth it over, and put it out there. But I don't, I don't want to eat, I don't want my music to be fast food. Like, sometimes you need fresh vegetables and, just different things. People are going vegan and all, all of that good stuff. But, sometimes you just need things that are more natural. And, from that, you can really feel that vibration. Like there's something called binaural beats, that you can listen to, help you to meditate, and, just help you to, just put you on a different vibe, just put you on a, help you, help helps you go to sleep, it helps you meditate. It helps to like I said, retreat and recharge, because I feel that well, not just feel, but I know that we can all use a we can all use a we can all use the recharge, so to speak, from time to time. And man, does it help. Phew, I remember I, just recently took a road trip, and man, even though it was somewhere, just right there, it's just, it feels good to just get away sometimes. Like some people, they don't even leave their front yard their whole lives, like they don't travel within their city or out of there. Maybe that's just their comfort zone. That's cool if that works for them. But me, I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna explore the world. So yeah. Seriously, man. But yeah, that's just the speaker in me, maybe that's just the author in me, maybe that's just the person that, has bigger things to do out here, bigger and better things to do out here, but yeah, man. So it's just saying, just choose, choose. I remember that, that Indiana Jones movie, and he was looking for like the Holy Grail, something like that. And the I think it was one of the knights. He might have been like a Templar knight. He was like, choose, but choose wisely. And some people chose poorly. Indiana Jones picked up the Holy Grail, and he was like, "Hey, you chose wisely." So, just saying to choose wisely. I don't think that was. I think it was Indiana Jones and the. I don't know if it's the Last Crusade or the Holy Grail. I forgot the name of the movie, but it was really good though. Get a chance, check that out. Or rewatch that movie. But Harrison Ford is a really good actor, man. Been vibing with him since Star Wars. But all right, folks, I don't want to. I don't want to talk your heads off, but I do have another business called it's we sell candles and bath bombs and just a lot of wax melts and just different thing candles. And so if you want to shop that for your which I do implore you to do that, go to www.tjinspires.com. That's www.tjinspires.com. And you can get all of your candles and your wax melts, and we do ship out pretty fast. So so do that for the holidays, do that for yourself, do that for a loved one. If you need to find the website, you can go to my Instagram, go to my you can go to my I'm sorry, my mind just went blank, but you can go to my my site that's on my Instagram. Just click it, it's in my bio, and it'll to the tjinspires.com site. You can get all your candles and your wax melts and all of that good stuff, folks. Great way to pay yours truly back. Trying to get my name out there and all of the things that I do. Sometimes I feel like it's a lot and it's overwhelming, but when you're a producer and you're an editor, and sometimes you're a motivational coach. It's a lot of official but unofficial hats that you have to wear along this journey. And for me, it's it's interesting. It's very, very, very interesting. But yeah, man, there's nothing wrong. um there's there is today and what you're going to do. So what decisions are you making in the now, and what changes are you making in the now to rectify those those situations. So move forward with purpose, move forward with intention, and move forward like like there is no tomorrow. So but yeah, man. But that's everything that I pretty much have for today. Thanks everybody for joining me on YouTube. And again, go to www.tjinspires.com. Get your candles, get your wax melts. You can go to Soul of a Man 504.com. Check out my books. Check them out on Amazon under Damon Alvarez. I have kids' books and poetry and just different stuff. And I have more books to come, folks. So, but yeah, thank y'all so much for joining me. Please follow me on the Wisdom app. Follow me on YouTube as well. So I'm not just growing alone, but we are growing together on this amazing soulful journey. But as always, folks, Soul of a Man 504. As always, I'm out. This peace, folks. Until next time.